What is going on, guys? Today, finally going to be bringing you guys a video you guys have been asking for a long time. That's how to hit a vacuum, how I practice my vacuum, all that good stuff. So, first part, you're hitting your vacuum is training your transverse abdominis, which of the abdominal muscles, that's kind of the one underneath it all that you don't see, whereas your rectus abdominis, or the six packs that you see, obliques is kind of up over on the side, the main muscles of your abs. And while looking like you have a nice six pack and all that, is going to be training your rectus abdominis, which is just kind of doing crunches and whatnot. That isn't exactly what can give you like a good slim waist look, because training your transverse abdominis is actually the muscle that pulls everything in, whereas training your rectus abdominis kind of does the opposite. So if you train a lot of abs and you have a very weak transverse abdominis, but your rectus is really strong, that can almost give you abs that almost like pooch out, which personally I think is a big reason that you see a lot of bodybuilders out there who have kind of stomach sagging out, not because of any drugs or any crap that they take, but because they eat so much. It stretches it out and it weakens that muscle all the time, and they never train it to pull it back in. And they train their abs obviously, so they have abs, but nothing to pull it in and keep their stomach flat. So training your transverse is not going to give you a smaller waist, but what it is going to do is give you the ability to actually pull in consistently, hold it in there, have the strength and the endurance to keep your stomach flat and tight, and can give the illusion that your waist is smaller just because you're maintaining a tight position. So when practicing the vacuum, it can be complicated for sure. Not everybody's going to get it on the first try, so I'm going to give you guys a few cues on what can help and what I think about as I'm hitting it, a few ways to do it, and then once you got it, how to practice it to master the trick. Okay, so when hitting a vacuum, the first part, most important thing you got to do is let out all your air. Because if there's air in your stomach and your diaphragm, it's not going to give you the ability to suck in and pull up. So what I do is I let out all my air, I flex my abs, so you kind of block your throat, and you think about pulling your belly button to your stomach. So you exhale, and you pull in like that. So I'm literally just letting out all my air, and most people aren't able to do this on the first try. A lot of people can do it as children. Sometimes you see kids running around pulling in their stomach like that, laughing like they look like a freaky alien. So obviously I just naturally have a little bit of a better mind-muscle connection to it, but this is something that everybody can do with enough practice, and it's really not impossible. So a good trick when you're learning how to do it and it's kind of more difficult for you to pull it in is finding something like a counter or blocks on the ground on your hands and knees. So it'll be the same concept here, but you're almost using your arms and your lats to pull in to make it a little bit easier. So you put your arms forward, again you let all your air out, and then you suck it in. Now once you actually have like the basic skill of being able to hit the vacuum, if you want to excel and get a lot better in it, really all comes down to practice. The more you do it, the stronger your transverse abdominis will be, the longer you'll be able to hold it, everything like that. And while this of course is building the strength of your transverse abdominis, when you're thinking of like one of the functions of it, of course, is to keep your pelvic super tight, keep your spine tight, keep kind of like the base support of everything super supported. One of the best ways to train it in that sense is holding planks or doing those rollouts. You see people with the rolls and they come down, big stretch like that, pull it in. That's also training your transverse abdominis and making your core super stable. But in talking about trying to get more advanced with the vacuum, you want to try and just I start off just by holding as long as possible and letting it out, holding as long as possible, letting out. Personally, I try and train as if I'm on stage, so it's a lot easier. Again, with your hands on the counter or something, or your hands down by your side. But once you're actually hitting a pose and everything else on your body's flexed, your arms are above your head, anything like that, it makes it much harder to hit and hold the vacuum. So, of course, practice like you play. I practice like I would be hitting it on stage, especially in ab and thigh pose. So personally, I like to go as if I'm going into the pose. I hit a vacuum and I don't let my stomach loose at all. When I let out the vacuum, I breathe in a little bit, I keep my abs super tight, hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then I pull it back up for as long as I can. This not only is training your transverse abdominis, but it's getting you ready on stage to never let your stomach kind of go out or in. You see a lot of people with breathing issues and stomachs hanging out as they're on stage posing for longer, and this is all literally just abdominal control because they don't train it. So if you're hit a pose, vacuum, and then in between you're standing around like this, because you're tired and you're like, you can't hold it in anymore, the judges are really gonna knock you down for that. So practice as if you weren't doing that. So again, I'll put my hands over my head, go to hit ab and thigh pose. Not easy, definitely not a lot of fun to do, and you will get sore first time practicing it for a while. Sometimes your muscles do get sore just under your ribs, and they can get tight. Of course, you're stabilizing your pelvis, stabilizing your spine, and protecting yourself from injury.